Welcome to One Little Spice, the Disney food podcast that isn't afraid to send you into the taste lab.
Welcome to episode 60. What to expect when you're expecting a classic Disney trip during a pandemic. I'm Julie.
And I'm Amy.
On this week's episode, we will be talking about all of the changes that Disney has made over the past few months, I guess since the park has opened, really, and everything that has been going on, and all the regulations, and all the things that might be dissuading you from coming on a Disney trip, aside from the pandemic, because we know the pandemic is a real issue, and if that is something that is bothering you, do not let us influence you in any way to travel when you are not comfortable. But if you would like to come to Disney and your only reservation is, Disney Magic might not be there, making park reservations is kind of pooey, these are going to be some really good facts and opinions that we have about being in the parks during these times and how to make the most of your Disney experience during a pandemic. But first, yo, it's time for Amy's Daily Dish. Amy, what's your dish? Icky.
Let's dish. Item 1. Something clever about Disneyland reopening. Disneyland Resort opened April 30th. Just like when Walt Disney World reopened, you will need a reservation as well as a park ticket. Limited capacity, masking, and social distancing is implemented, and as far as I've heard, it's going well. One big thing is you must be a California state resident in order to visit. This is until further notice, so don't get planning your visit just yet, unless you're a California state resident.
And of course, regular state guidelines still count amidst all of this. It's basically whatever is more strict is the guideline you follow. Like, for example, Walt Disney World is in Florida. Florida decided it would be really awesome to nix the mask mandate. But Disney is smarter than that.
Yes, they are.
So while you do not have to wear a mask in the entire state of Florida, you still must wear it at Disney World. Thank the Disney gods.
Yes.
Will that be like Hercules and Zeus and other gods and other Disney movies?
I'm gonna go with they're the John Lennon sketch looking guys from Soul.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering if because they're in Hercules, wasn't Zeus in it? Hercules is a god.
Yes, he is. Bless my soul, Herc was on a roll. People of the person of the week of every Greek opinion. Yeah, I can't talk. I got the first part. Yeah, sorry.
You did, and that part was beautiful.
Thank you.
So we have Thor, god of thunder.
Thunder.
Loki, god of mischief.
Mm-hmm.
Odin, obviously.
I have to say, Loki would better be described as the trickster god, but it's the same thing. My fiance would make sure I say
I in real Norse mythology, yes.
Yes,
but
I know. Yes.
In the Marvel universe, which is Disney, is what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
But
I feel
yes.
like it works both ways.
It does. It's the same thing. It's literally the same word. I mean, it's not, but it is.
Anywho. Item 2. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
All right, so thank you to Disney.
Thank you, Disney.
For announcing yesterday on May the 4th. We are recording on Revenge of the 5th today. Disney released some amazing information. The new Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser will be launching in 2022. This is super exciting. So, if you've been living under a rock for the last few years, the Galactic Star Cruiser is going to be a Disney World resort where you are fully immersed in Star Wars. It's a 2-night vacation. Rumors have said that it's going to be something ridiculous like $1,000 a night. I still think it's totally worth it. Or like $1,000 for the weekend per person or something like that. prices, like actual prices, haven't been released yet, so don't quote me on any of this.
Yeah, no, they vaguely, I remember way pre-pandemic, they threw out some numbers and they were high.
Yes. But how this works is you check in to the hotel and you basically live on this Star Cruiser for the 2 days, and you get to go to Batu, and you live on the ship. You go to Batu. You get to do lightsaber training. You get to eat in the mess hall. It's pretty incredible from all the things that I've seen. But what makes this 1,000 times better is, and Josh D'Amaro teased this the other day during one of his press conferences, real lightsabers. And by real lightsabers, I mean lightsabers that when you click, a beam comes off of them. Yes, I'm sure it's some sort of Disney magic, but you're not going to be holding around a lightsaber that's got a little light tube on the end of it. Like, these are going to be legit, quote unquote, lightsabers. There's also a really awesome teaser that came out that is supposed to be Rey holding one of these new lightsabers. It seems so amazing.
Excellent.
But you also stay in these bunks, and it's interesting because a lot of people have complained that the bunk sizes are too small and things like that, but that's the whole experience. That's the point.
Also, I imagine a lot of the bunks might be, in a lot of the situations, it might be they probably made a lot of both small family as well as couples rooms and whatnot, so it might be bunks and a bed, or I don't know.
So the room that I saw was a king-size bed and 2 bunks on top of each other.
Oh yeah, that's for small groups or small family. Duh.
Yeah, but honestly, I'd sleep in the bunk. I mean, the bed did look super comfy too.
But yeah, it's supposed to be this huge immersive experience. And are you provided with Star Wars authentic wardrobe? I thought, hey, that'd be super cool, and I'm sure people obviously would want to wear costumes, but one thing that kind of made me go, I wonder if that's going to be part of it, is that the images or photos, illustrations, whatever you want to, with the exception of when you are entering when you are being, sent up to the Star Cruiser, they call it the pod or something it's a transportation pod you get in that takes you to the Star Cruiser. In there, the family is wearing very clearly I'm going to Florida vacation clothes. Everywhere else, everyone is wearing Star Wars clothes. So I'm wondering if that means that I don't know if it's going to be you're forced to wear Star Wars clothes, but it's you're paying all this money for a Star Wars immersive experience. You're probably a Star Wars fan and you're down for this. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing.
I would hope so.
I would too. I feel like that's the only way to really feel immersed is if you there's some sort of a whole wardrobe situation.
I do feel like there will be some pushback for that. But again, you are literally paying for the experience. If you don't want to be fully immersed in it, don't pay the money to be fully immersed in the Star Wars universe. If you're going to pay for this, invest in it.
Yeah.
It's basically like Star Wars Comic-Con at Disney, but better.
Yeah. And I imagine it's just going to be a thing where it's this is the rules of it. We're not saying this or that, but it's no, you got to you got to try. If you don't want to wear a clothes, fine. Just throw on this over jackety thing or something, like a Jedi robe or something. I don't know.
There will be pushback if people are required to wear a certain thing. But
yeah, I would imagine it's more than likely going to be it's provided for you, but it's not required, and 99.9% of people are gonna do it because Star Wars.
And I will judge that one person that doesn't when I'm on my vacation.
Oh, I won't speak to you, but that's part of why I'll be judging you from afar, because you're definitely gonna get to do this long before I do.
I hope so. That'd be so amazing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was my thought.
So one cool thing is in Hollywood Studios, where they have the Walt Disney Presents, there will be a model of the ship on display. So you'll get to see what that looks like too, which is awesome. My favorite part of the Walt Disney Presents is all the tiny little models of the different parks and things. Yeah. So when they had the Toy Story World, Toy Story Land, that was amazing.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I love that part. But yeah, no, I really like that they are having a model there because let's be honest, the majority of people who want to do it will probably never get to do it because it's extremely exclusive. So it's really nice to at least be able to be like, hey, I want to see what the inside of this building looks like that I can't.
Yeah, it's just a model of it. It's not the inside.
Oh,
Sorry. But it is for a limited time, and you won't even be down here to see it.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's true. I'll see pictures.
Not to burst the bubble. Next, bringing it back to the food, since we are a food podcast, they had some really awesome creations. In Hollywood Studios, they had a Darth Maul Dark Side chocolate creation that literally looked like the top of Darth Maul's head. Looks like there are slivered almonds used to make his horns. So incredible. And the Baby Yoda is back. Oh, sorry. They are calling it now the Grogu Mini Dome Cake at Amaret's. And they have the... So that's at Amaret's. And at the Ganachery, they have a Millennium Falcon chocolate pop. Now, I've seen this... It looks beautiful. It looks amazing. But if it is literally a solid piece of chocolate, it's too much for me.
Too much chocolate?
Yes.
Is it white or is it dark?
It's dark and then
Or
it's like airbrushed with gray.
Oh, okay. That's just too much chocolate for you?
It's just like
No.
if it's like a mousse filled inside, like if it's a filled piece of chocolate or something like that, yes. But if it's literally just a solid piece of chocolate, I feel like so expensive.
Oh, how much was it? Like, I know we don't usually talk prices.
I have no idea. But
oh, okay. But you're
it's
assuming
Disney,
it's expensive.
and it's the Ganachery,
Okay.
so I assume
yes.
it's probably pretty pricey.
If it's just solid and it's not a price that a solid piece of chocolate should be on a stick.
We will have a picture of this posted on our Instagram, so you'll be able to see it once this episode comes out, because we will have all the details there as well, because I feel like the whole world needs to see it and needs to know about it, because it's pretty fantastic. Next, Disney Plus released the Bad Batch
I didn't know it existed
series
until this
that
very
came
moment.
out May the 4th.
I didn't know it existed until
Which
this very moment.
I have not started watching yet because I have to wait for my husband, but it seems like it's going to be incredible. But yes, so should be awesome. Very excited. And they have the Wishables with a new R2-D2 and C-3PO that came out. The R2-D2 looks a little round. I mean, I guess they all do, but they're all super, super, super cute. And to top it all off, I am drinking a Baby Yoda themed beverage, which you may remember from our post on Revenge of the 5th.
I take offense to that.
It is lime soda water, margarita mix, even though it's supposed to be lemon lime sherbet, because my grocery store did not have lemon lime
Tequila
sherbet.
is never a bad decision.
And because it is also Cinco de Mayo,
It's
staying with the theme,
It's so cute.
I put tequila in it. And then it has 2 little lime ears.
It's a cute
for
picture.
Little Baby Yoda's ears. Or Grogu's ears. I do apologize. But I got a little creative with my photography for that picture. That was a lot of fun. And so as you know, we are both very... we love Star Wars.
We do.
So we are very excited for all the Disney Star Wars news that came out recently. And we do certainly love celebrating May the 4th. Although we did not share a post this year because yesterday I feel like got away from both of us a little bit.
Item 3. All you college students who haven't seen a campus all year, now you have the opportunity to do that for one more semester. The Walt Disney World branch of the Disney College program is relaunching in June. Participants of the 2020 class of the Disney College program, interrupted by the pandemic, have been sent communication inviting them to reapply and join Disney again. Certain restrictions, such as those related to graduation, have been temporarily suspended to allow former 2020 participants to meet qualifications. The application process has been changed to make it simpler, and now you can engage with a team of recruiters on social media. The Disneyland branch, the Disney International program, and the Disney Culinary program will all remain paused for the moment, but the relaunch of the Disney College program is a huge step in the return of these other internship programs.
Oh, they've actually changed the name of it already as well.
To what?
You're going to wonder what I'm talking about now, but that's where I step in and give you a little bit more information about the Disney College program. So, Disney just built this amazing living campus called Flamingo Crossing Village. So this was originally slated to be housing for the Disney College program because they were planning on selling off the old, I can't think of what it was called, Vista Way. There you go. I was so close. So they are selling off Vista Way, so this was going to be the new campus. However, the pandemic hit, and they were like, oh, hey, what do we do with Flamingo Crossing now? So what they actually did is they added rooms that were eligible for any cast member to live in. They were still, double, triple, quadruple occupancy apartments. And you pay per person. But they sectioned that off to a certain part of the campus because they knew they were bringing the college program back. So that will be separated from the actual college housing, but they now get to be at Flamingo Crossing Village, which is amazing because it is this brand new state-of-the-art, incredible campus. Jason and I actually thought about moving here because why not? So they are going to keep the college students separate, and they will all be in individual rooms from what I know, but vaccinated college students will have the opportunity to live with other vaccinated college program students. So they will get more of a college experience, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited. It's awesome.
Sounds neat.
It is literally state of the art. They have everything under the sun. Seriously, it's we'll share the link somewhere so you can see what it looks like, or we'll share a picture or something. We'll share some pictures on our Instagram of what this complex looks like because it is absolutely gorgeous. It's basically almost like living at Disney with everything that they have for it. The pool, wait till you see the pool, Amy. It is insane.
Woo! I love a good pool. I do. I own a pool store. I'm really into pools.
I never would have guessed.
No, never had a pool.
The pool basically looks like a giant lazy river, almost.
I love lazy rivers.
I know. That's why I told you about it.
That was genuine excitement on my part.
So the loss of the college program was definitely a really sad moment during the pandemic. I mean, the closing of Disney World in and of itself was really tough, but especially with the seniors who it would have been their last chance to be part of the college program, I think it's really awesome that Disney is allowing them to come back and still fulfill their college program credit, because it's just an awesome experience for them to have. And it's very exciting because this coming back means that a lot of other programs, and eventually when we have the international program back, we will have all the right cast members in all the right countries, which I feel like was part of what made Epcot so magical, is you actually got to interact with cast members from each of these countries.
I loved interacting with the German cast members.
Yeah, I remember our server at Akershus, and hearing all her stories was really, really, really special.
Oh yeah, that was fun because she was also being observed technically, I believe, or a little bit, because she was there were some auditors there or something like that, and she was serving them, or she was serving the auditors and us, and so the auditors asked us about our experience, and we gave her really positive feedback.
And I think we got Tinkerbell clippy drinky things.
We got Tinkerbell clippy thingies.
The light up drink clips, if anybody is curious about what the heck we're talking about.
One of mine is, because I'm sure I have many, but one of them is on my hibiscus tree.
One of mine went completely dead and disappeared somewhere, so. But I do have a Pascal.
Pascal.
He makes me happy.
Item 4. From what little we know, the awesome food I reported on previously is still a go.
What awesome food, Amy.
And after that cryptic title, the Avengers campus at Disneyland Resort is set to open on June 4th, and the unusually sized food is still set to be sold at the Paul Rudd, Ant-Man themed Pym Test Kitchen, as is the snack cart selling Terran treats near the Disneyland Figment cameo. Guardians of the Galaxy mission breakout.
Honestly, I got stuck waiting to get on that ride for, 45 minutes for something that was broken down. And I just stood there taking 30 pictures of Figment.
Oh, I know. I got a lot of pictures.
He was like, is this one good?
I was like,
Can you
yes,
tell it's him?
there.
Can you tell it's him?
Yep. It's totally him. Anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, at Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, one of the cases that is hanging from the ceiling, I believe, is a fogged out but very clearly Figment. So Figment is a 2-park dragon at this point.
And he was collected by the collector and is actually up in a very far corner, so you don't actually get a good view of him. And I feel like next time I go, I need to bring my DSLR with my zoom lens. I'm pretty sure I had it in my backpack, but didn't think to take it out to get a better shot of it because...
But we know he's there.
We know he's there, yeah. We wanted to touch base a little bit about all of the restrictions that are happening in Disney World right now and, Disneyland too, if you're a California resident. Because while reading about it on social media and on the Disney food blogs and from the Disney website, it can get a bit overwhelming and discouraging. And I would just like to say that, yes, it is a different experience, but it's also incredible. So, the big thing in the Disney parks right now is masks. A lot of people aren't going because wearing a mask takes away from the experience. Personally, I don't really have I don't have a problem wearing a mask. I have pretty bad anxiety, so the tiny little hug on my face actually helps with my anxiety when I'm in the parks. I feel like it keeps my face cooler because I'm breathing air into the mask, and I know it sounds really gross, but the condensation actually keeps my face cooler. And you can match them to your ears and match them to your outfit and match them to the parks.
And if you're wearing a hat, you don't have to put sunblock on your face and block your pores.
This is true.
Maybe you should anyways. But you don't have to put, as much as I do.
Yes, it's Florida. Still wear sunscreen.
So just put sunblock on at all times, but you don't have to reapply quite as often. So, every hour and a half like me. You don't have to do it that much.
But Amy still will if she comes down.
Mm-hmm. Item, it's a bonus. Walt Disney World guests may now choose not to wear a mask in outdoor public spaces, but must continue to wear a mask indoors and on rides and in queues. From what I have read, the masks must be on throughout the entire ride queue, regardless of whether the queue begins outdoors or indoors, has indoor or outdoor sections. You're in the queue, it's part of the ride, you have to wear your mask.
This is correct.
The restaurant rules, I believe, haven't changed.
Are the same.
I was going to say, haven't changed. They're the same.
Once you sit, you can take your mask off.
Yeah. When you get up.
Even though technically it's not until you, have ordered. But
yeah.
They were never really super strict on that.
Yes. But yeah, so that's our bonus item. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah! Okay, so the biggest pushback for people is wearing masks for pictures. And I get it. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Somehow it takes away from the magic. And I understand if it's your only visit to the park ever in your life. I get that because then your pictures are only going to have masks on. In this instance, I would implore you to wait until the mask mandate is lifted to come back to the parks because going to Disney is a lot of money. One thing that Disney has changed, though, is that when you are socially distanced outdoors, you may take off your mask for pictures. I still keep my mask on, but for those who would like to take their mask off while socially distanced and stationary, may take their masks off for pictures. It's outside, so it's not really a huge deal as if they were inside and whatnot. So
how I kind of feel about like the masks and pictures and whatnot, and people being like, "Oh, I want to take my picture off for the my mask off for the picture, not my picture off for the mask." Right now, I just sort of think, well, masks are currently a part of life. So if I was going on a vacation, I would just be like, well, this is what life is right now, and these are pictures of my life at this point in time.
yeah, and why would you want a falsified memory?
Yeah, like when I bought when we picked out my wedding dress, the lady that owned the shop, she's like, if you want to like really quick take off your mask to just like take a picture of yourself in the dress without the mask on. I'm just like, thank you, I appreciate the offer, but this is how I bought my wedding dress, so this is how I want to remember. I want to remember what happened. I don't want to pretend it didn't happen.
Because when we when we pretend that things in history don't happen, or we forget that they existed, or we try to rewrite them so that they did not happen, history repeats itself.
They happen again.
Because even when we have all the proof in the world of the things that have happened in history, it still repeats itself. Next, masks at restaurants. So, when you go to a restaurant, you have to wear a mask when you walk inside. And then once you sit it down at the table, Disney technically changed this so that you had to wait until you had a beverage in front of you. Once you sit down at the table, you can take your mask off. If they ask you to wait until you have a beverage, make sure you do that. But it hasn't been an issue from what I've seen. And where, since I have been with the new restriction, you do have to put your mask back on to get up and use the restroom, or anytime that you leave the table.
That's how it is up here in Massachusetts.
If you forget and have to run back and get your mask, it's okay. We are only human. I have accidentally forgotten my mask at my table a couple times, and Jason's had to be like, babe, mask. So it's okay, it happens. Next is masks in the heat. So it is getting hotter down here. I personally, like I just said, feel like my mask keeps me cooler. On the very humid days, it is a little harder with the mask. And then in Animal Kingdom, because it's always 10 degrees hotter than the other parks, it tends to hold the heat a little bit more too. So I always find it a little bit harder to breathe. In Animal Kingdom, make sure you bring extra masks for that, because they might get soaked with your sweat or whatnot. With your breathing, it just might be harder to breathe through them. You'll certainly want masks for each day that you're there. One thing in particular that you will certainly need an extra mask for is riding Splash Mountain. If your mask gets wet, it is virtually impossible to breathe through. I almost had a panic attack last summer because I only had the one mask. I could not breathe through the mask. I started hyperventilating. I took a deep breath, sat down, and was fine. But make sure you bring extra masks. Next is masks at the resorts and pool. You need to wear your mask when you are at a Disney resort, unless you are in your room or by the pool. Otherwise, you're wearing a mask. Or I guess at the restaurants too. Again, if this is something that you're not comfortable with, that's okay. Wait until you are to come to Disney. There's nothing wrong with postponing your trip. I know it sucks. It's disappointing if you have had a vacation planned, and especially because it's Disney, because it's super magical, and it definitely beats being at home in a lockdown. But if you want that full experience with no mask on, it's okay to wait. Next is the Magical Express from the airport. So what I've noticed with all of the resort / park / Magical Express buses is they are limited right now. And that is because the amount of drivers they have is limited. When the park had initially opened, it wasn't as bad because there were even less people. But now, as the pandemic has drawn on a bit and people from outside of the state can come, there are more people, more reservations. The past couple weeks we had cheerleading competitions that were still here. So the bus system at the moment is getting a little overwhelmed. One thing that Jason and I noticed when we were leaving Animal Kingdom one night is that we got a big tour shuttle bus. that brought us back to our resort instead of an actual Disney bus. Disney had hired outside buses to help with the overload. One thing that was also happening the night that we just happened to be there was the bus system went down. I guess they had just started using a new system and it went down, and so there was absolutely no communication between any of the buses about where they were supposed to go and what parks they were going to and all that. And when they used to have a full load of bus drivers and buses for the entire fleet, certain bus drivers would just go back and forth from Epcot to Disney Springs, Epcot to Disney Springs. Maybe did they even go to, yes, after 4 o'clock they did. Or Epcot to the Coronado, Epcot to the Coronado, Epcot to the Coronado. What we learned when we were there is that the bus that went from the Epcot to the Coronado might be going from the Coronado to Hollywood Studios next, or the bus that went from the Coronado to Hollywood Studios is now taking people from Hollywood Studios to Animal Kingdom Lodge. I don't know. So they don't have set bus schedules like they used to before. Or if they do, it's like, so for the first half of your shift, you're driving between Epcot and Coronado. And then for the second half of your shift, because it's going to be busier, you're doing this route. So because there are not as many bus drivers, there cannot be as many buses, and they kind of have to rework their whole scheduling. So be patient with the bus drivers. It is annoying. I am well aware because we were there for one day, and a good 3 hours of our day was taken up waiting for the bus, but still a lot of fun. But that is why when you see all the pictures of all the people that are waiting for the Magical Express, that is why it is so large. And then the Magical Express will be ending at the end of 2021 and not continuing into 2022. Disney has yet to release any information about what they will be doing next.
Mears has released information that they are basically going to continue doing a service that is more or less the Magical Express, but it's separate and you have to sign up.
But you have to pay for it.
Yeah, you have to pay for it and you have to sign up for it separately. Previously, essentially, you were already paying for it in your resort fees, but that is not going to be the case after the contract ends.
This is correct, and Disney has not released any information about any sort of transportation they will be doing from the airport as of yet. So next we will talk about Disney dining reservations and park reservations. So things have changed a little bit. You don't get 180 plus 10 days. You can make reservations 60 days out, but at that 60-day mark you can make reservations for your whole trip. I'm not sure why they decided on 60 days, but probably because things are changing and capacity might increase and things like that. But I know initially when they took out the 180 days, they wiped out every single reservation that everybody had to make it fair for the people coming in, because there were limited capacity. And instead of saying, hey, the last 50 people that made a reservation for each of these time slots doesn't get their reservation, they just wiped everybody's reservations out and everybody had to start over. Now, this was very disappointing for me as I had just made my honeymoon reservations, but it turned out amazing. Our honeymoon was fantastic, and we ate at some pretty incredible restaurants that I probably would not have tried had some of the restaurants I wanted been closed. So when you hit your 60-day mark, it's the same thing. It's like 6 a.m. or 6:30 or 7 or whenever you can start making reservations, and then you can make reservations for your trip. Obviously, with larger parties, you will have a little bit more difficult time making reservations, but where it was just me and my husband on our honeymoon, we did not have a problem finding reservations at any of the restaurants we wanted. And the same thing goes if you don't find a restaurant on that first day that you really want, book a second one and keep checking back because people cancel reservations all the time. If you make a reservation for dining at Disney Springs and Disney Springs is at capacity, what that means is that the parking garages are at capacity and no one who is driving is allowed to enter Disney Springs once they hit capacity. However, Disney has kept in mind that people at the resorts are going to be dining at Disney Springs and going shopping at Disney Springs and things like that. So there is a certain amount of capacity that is allotted to resort guests. If you take your Disney bus from your resort to Disney Springs, you will be able to get in. There may be a line at temperature checks, but fear not. If you have made a reservation for dining on, say, a Friday night and you are staying at one of the resorts, you will be able to get there for your reservation. If, You are not staying on property and you have a Disney reservation at the ground level parking. They sometimes have spaces reserved if you have a reservation. It is the cast members' choice whether or not you will be allowed in for your reservation, but if you show them your reservation on your phone, they might let you park there and still enter the springs for your reservation. Another thing is you have to make reservations for the park now as well, which is not awful for the people who are planning trips far out, like next year. I believe park reservations are open through the end of 2022. So if you have a valid ticket or or hotel reservation, or your annual pass extends through that time, you can make those reservations. If you are an annual pass holder, you can only make 3 reservations at a time. If you are staying and you have valid park tickets for all of the days of your resort stays, you can book reservations for all of those days, which includes if you are an annual pass holder, because when we went on our honeymoon, I was able to reserve days for all of our honeymoon plus my 3 additional days. If you are planning a spur-of-the-moment trip to Disney, before you book that hotel room or buy your plane tickets, check to see if there are even any reservations that are open, because right now, especially for the month of May, cast members can't go into the parks currently, but reservations are filling up at least for all the weekends and for a significant number of the park days as well. My next reservation is not until the middle of June for that reason exactly. And then I have a reservation on October 1st for the 50th anniversary and a reservation on my birthday. So those are my 3 reservations, so I cannot go until then. It's kind of sad. I'm jonesing for some Disney and some tuna nachos! But it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be great.
What they also have now is wait lists that you can join at certain restaurants. So if you get to a park first thing in the morning or whenever the park opens, if there's a restaurant where you are interested in eating, you can put your name on a wait list. The wait lists do fill up, but they have allotted a certain number of seatings during this waitlist period. And on the app, it also tells you how long the waitlist is if you are interested in looking and seeing what the waitlist is for some of these parks. Next is quick service mobile ordering. At all of the quick service restaurants, you can now do mobile ordering. That is generally the only way that you can pay unless you have to pay with cash. They are currently frowning upon that. Try paying with digital. I don't think it links to your room, but you can link it to whatever credit card you have on your room, and it will act like the same thing. But it's actually pretty cool because it shows you pictures of everything, and if there's something that's normally on the menu that happens to be sold out, it won't be on the menu, so you can't accidentally order it. So it's actually really awesome. Unfortunately, there was a really awesome Christmas Mickey Bell glow cube thing that we did not get because it was all sold out. One last thing, Gideon's and Everglazed, there is generally always a wait list for those. They have virtual queues where you give them your phone number. They text you when it's time to come back and wait in line, and then you get to wait in line. I went to Everglazed when it was a torrential downpour, so there was no line at all. It was glorious. And Gideon's is a cookie shop, and Everglazed is a donut shop, both in Disney Springs, if you did not know what those are. So those are my little tidbits about what to expect if you are traveling to Disney World right now. Okay, one other thing that Disney also announced as of today, Revenge of the 5th. Since reopening, we have considered guidance from public health authorities, government agencies, and our own team of health and safety experts as we assess and update health and safety measures to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. As this guidance continues to evolve, and with the support of local health and government officials, we are making some additional adjustments. Following the advice of the CDC and our local health officials, we will phase out on-site temperature screenings at Walt Disney World Resort for cast members beginning May 8th and guests on May 16th. We will continue to follow the guidance of health and safety leaders going forward, and most importantly, encourage people to get vaccinated. So those are just some things that are happening now and changing around Disney World. We wanted to let you know about all that because if you're traveling to the park, are aware of all these changes and that you are able to make the best of your vacation during the pandemic. One thing that I did forget to mention is how the meet and greets are going with the characters. There technically are no more meet and greets where you stand in a line for an hour and then you get 10 minutes with them and your kid's crying the whole time, and sometimes there's just a camera in a little box taking a picture of your knees and Tinkerbell's butt. So now, how they are doing it is there are cavalcades that happen throughout the day with some of the princesses walking around and some of the characters on either cars or the vehicles or just walking around. But not only are there cavalcades, the characters come out in their elements, if you will. And you get to watch them interact with the environment, and they'll come over and they'll take socially distanced pictures with you. And I just feel like it's a way more magical experience because it's never really planned. And I feel like that's how it was my first trip to Disney.
That is how it used to be.
Exactly. Characters were kind of spread around the parks and they would hop out, and yes, there would be a line for them, but they would be able to walk around the parks, so it wasn't like, up at 2 o'clock, we have a fast pass to go meet Rapunzel. I have done that, and it was wonderful, but it's just more sporadic, a little bit. I feel like the magic has come back with it, and so one of my favorite ones is Pooh, Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
And he is actually on the lawn over by the Imagination Pavilion, and he comes out with a butterfly
It's so
net and
adorable.
just like kind of walks around and dawdles around and will come over and say hi to you. The last time we saw him, he like picked up a stick and like handed it to this little kid who was just staring at him and so in awe that Winnie the Pooh was standing in front of him. And I just think that it's just such a magical experience, and I love it, and I love the changes that Disney has made. And I feel like it's one of those things where change stinks. It does. It's hard, and it's not always easy to adjust to change, but I feel like this is one that if you embrace and just go in literally go in expecting nothing, because you're not going to get the same Disney magic that you got in the past, but it is still magical. There is still so much Disney magic, and it's just a different experience. Between my first trip to Disney and 5 years later when I went again, it was a completely different experience. Everything I remembered that I loved about that first trip was gone, but I still had magical adventures and amazing vacations, and every time Amy and I have gone, it has been a different experience. Every single time we've gone, and it's been amazing each and every time, but every time we make all new memories. Even when Jason and I go, each day that we go is completely different than the last, and you do different things and you experience new magic, and it's a lot of fun.
When you embrace change, you grow.
Exactly.
Just being wise. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of those things where yes, it is disappointing that some things are not going to be exactly how you remember because it is an expensive trip to Disney.
Journey into the Imagination with Figment is not exactly how I remember, and I deal with that, so you can deal with this. No.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not actually that angry. It just came into my mind, and I was just like, well.
I just want to say that that's probably way worse than any of the changes.
It is.
That have happened during the pandemic.
It is.
I miss Original Figment. I never actually experienced it in person, but
the YouTube video is enough to make it hurt for you, Julie. Trust me.
Oh, trust me, I am aware.
Yeah.
But just go in with an open heart, an open mind, and you will have an amazing time.
And an open wallet. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
But even like I said, Jason and I went on our honeymoon, and we had planned to go to the Yachtsman, for example, and we ended up eating at Il Mulino because I was trying to find a fancy upscale restaurant because that was supposed to be our wedding day, and I wanted a great meal that was going to make us feel like we didn't have to cancel our wedding. You know?
Fancy.
It was okay. It worked out. We got to go on a Disney honeymoon, which was not in the works if we had spent all that money on the wedding. So I am okay with it. But we ate at Il Mulino, which is this amazing Italian restaurant inside the Swan. Amy and I had talked about going to it a bunch of different times, but it never fit into our schedules. Jason and I went. It was some of the best food I've had, period. Not just on Disney property. And it was more authentic Italian than, something like the Olive Garden or even the restaurants in...
Most things are more authentic Italian than the Olive Garden. I'm including Chinese restaurants now. You're just setting me up for a lot of funny jokes, that's all.
Exactly, that's the plan. But it's, obviously you're not actually in Italy, but I feel like it's a very close experience to the delicious food that you would get there and the service that we received. It was just an absolutely magical evening. The restaurant was pretty spread out, and we had this lovely little secluded area that was kind of behind this partition. It felt insanely romantic. We were treated like royalty. Everything we got was insanely delicious. It was an incredible meal. And we would have missed out on that if the Yachtsman had been open. Not that the Yachtsman wouldn't have also been an amazing meal, because Amy and I have done that, and it is amazing.
Amazing.
But we got to experience something new. So there's so much at Disney that you probably haven't experienced yet. So just go in and create new memories. And get matching masks that match your ears and match everybody else's. We had some that said just married. We had like Spaceship Earth ones for Future World, and ones that had little stamps from around the world for the World Showcase. I had a Minnie Mouse one. I had made a Flynn Rider wanted poster mask for Jason that was like the bottom half of the wanted poster with the giant nose, and a Tangled one for me with the sun on it, because we had a Tangled wedding when we did get married. And so it's just a lot of fun it's just another way to express all your Disney pride.
Your love for Disney. Whichever.
Yeah, it's just another way to accessorize.
Some good friends of Michael and I, they gave us a little care package a little while back, and it had a Figment. Yes, it had a Figment mask, but it's like, the masks that are like mouths, if that's, better, like a recreation of
like Figment's mouth.
Yeah, it's Figment's mouth and nose. It's super cute. Helen cracked up when I showed it to her. Helen being my mother. It definitely passed the Helen test.
I was going to say it passed the Helen test.
It passed the Helen test. Helen test. Helen test.
Anything else to add, Amy?
Oh,
I did have a question. Let's pretend the pandemic wasn't a thing. If the way Disney was running it now, with reservation systems at the restaurants, with 60 days out for reservations, with no actual meet and greets, with meet and greets being kind of sporadic, with the cavalcades, with only certain restaurants being open, if it wasn't like scraping together funds for the trip, if it was just like, here's $3,000 for you to take a Disney trip that we had been saving up for, that we had planned, would you go? Or would you wait?
Okay, if there wasn't a pandemic, and for some reason they altered the way they ran things, having to do with people being farther distance apart for whatever reason, maybe it's precautionary safety. Yeah, if money wasn't a thing, I could say I would go down. If travel didn't scare the crap out of me right now because of pandemic.
Yes. Okay. So here's my next question. If Disney keeps reservation systems forever, if Disney does not bring back fast passes, if Disney keeps social distancing in lines, I would hope that they would do that. Oh my God, it's like the greatest thing ever. And they never brought back meet and greets the way they used to be with making reservations and waiting in huge lines and all that jazz. Would you go or would you wait?
Basically, is the things that I would wait for unrelated to the pandemic. The things that I would be like, oh, I want to wait for would be like I don't really need to meet and greet characters. I can see if you have like little like kids that want to have like the picture with the characters and all that. I can see like that being something that would be majorly effective. But yeah, no, like in a non-specifically pandemic world where Disney World is running on limited capacity and as such not everything is open. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think that was really the question I was trying to get at. I wasn't really trying to ask. It took me a while to get there, but the question I was asking wasn't necessarily would you come down in a pandemic. It was if things stayed like this and there was no pandemic.
Do I feel that the Disney magic has been, tarnished or upset by this? Not really. I feel like they have just made magic in a different way. I would, of course, miss rides and restaurants that are not currently open, but let's say for whatever reason it's like things open and close because they can only have so many or whatever. Yeah, no, it's like really it's just the whole pandemic thing that I'm just like I am not wanting to travel right now. But no, like the question you actually landed.
And again, I think that if I was living in Massachusetts still, I don't think I would be traveling to Florida anytime soon either. So I totally get that. Because I live here is the only reason why I go to Disney still.
Yeah.
Because it's the safest place in Florida right now.
It is. It definitely is.
But yes, so we just wanted to let you know what to expect when you are taking a Disney vacation during the pandemic. I hope this has answered some of your questions and made you a little bit more hopeful about traveling to the park. If you have any other questions, you can reach us on all the social medias. On Instagram and Twitter, we are at @1_little_spice. And you can follow us on Facebook. You will find us at One Little Spice. And join our Facebook group, One Little Spice Group, to have some more chats there and ask us any questions. We are open books. Anything you want to know, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, thank you so much for listening. We love you all. And just remember, every recipe starts with one little spice.